So right at the front here, you've got stuff that's not for sale. We start in the gift shop. We get here. You feel like you're still in a gift shop, but we are already in the museum.
That is good. Yeah. Look at this. It changes.
You guys got any questions on any pieces or anything like that? Feel free to come out and ask.
That's really
me.
cool.
I'll try to do my best to explain what it is, where he got it.
Cool, yeah.
No,
well, if you had some help, I'd ask you to give me a tour.
Well, I can give you part of one right now. We're out.
Could you?
Empty. Yeah, I can do
Could you? That would be way cooler than what I was going to do.
Your seat's in the back? Oh, no, it's not. Hold on. I pushed the button.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
There you go.
Give us just a sec. He's going to give us a tour, and I love that.
Yeah,
I'm just looking around right now.
The store's empty, so I can do a little bit.
Okay, thanks, man.
Okay.
Can you hear
What do you think
everything?
we can go around?
I can't do every single piece, but I can highlight.
We can come back through.
Yeah. Like I can go over the costumes, some of the stuff like that. Just kind of don't forget to look up because there's stuff all the way up to the ceiling.
I love this big wooden Superman.
This piece here, this used to be the big billboard coming into town. Like as you drive through, and if you notice when you're coming into town on the left there's a billboard that says "Welcome to Metropolis," blah 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 blah. This used to be what was there, the front half. As they were taking it down, they destroyed the legs. So that's why there's only part of his belt buckle and some of his chest. And then there's a weird chin piece to get to electricity.
It's just the super and not the man.
Yeah, it's just the super area. This is the George Reeves. The majority of the stuff he tried to make this look like like an office, or like the Daily News, like the Daily Planet's office. But all these like radios and typewriters and phones and that tea kettle and the props in here, they were all used on the show in the 50s. And there's like 10 typewriters. There's his George Reeves glasses that he wore in the show in the case there with the leather case that went with it. Inspector Henderson's hats, there's 2 of them there. That rug you could only get at the Warner Brothers store. They did like 10 of them. It's like a latch hook rug there behind those. Yeah, it's Spanish lobby cards. If you look up there's some more hats. The suit he wore on the show. And this was where is it? This one. This was George Reeves' bumper hood ornament. The DC Comics, which was National Periodical, all that before they were changing hands, awarded him that. Like gave it to him as his recognition piece. And then this is his script cover for the show. So there's all different various. There it is in the photo. There it is.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's different plastic S's that he had made, and different lights and all that stuff in the different S shapes. And there's a personal camera. You can slide back in there for that shot, but it's in the corner there. There's a picture around it, but that's of George Reeves holding that camera. There's the photo. It doesn't have the leather case around it, but that's his personal camera.
I am a collector of cameras and typewriters myself.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Here's the award handed to George Reeves for national recognition. There's letters to him and TWA Ambassadors Club letters that were his. And watch out for that light. You don't want to trip like that. Various pieces of memorabilia from the 40s to 60s, little wallets and like Macy's parades. This is the first toy they ever made for Superman. Was this baby doll, and then came the Ideal doll. Those Ideal dolls, if you can get one in mint condition, they're like crazy expensive. With the box, it's ridiculous.
Are we talking several thousand, or are we talking like $1 million?
No, nothing's $1 million except Action Comics 1. These are the only boots worn by 2 Supermen. They were worn by Kirk Alyn and George Reeves in the black and white, so it'd be the first 2 seasons. And then this is a piece of kryptonite that they used in the, I forget what it was, but it belonged to Kirk Alyn. He used it in one of the films. I guess that some of this stuff I don't know exactly. You'd have to get Jim's. He knows where he got everything. Just various lobby cards signed by Lyle Talbot, who played Lex Luthor in the Adam Man vs. Superman, Kirk Alyn signatures, lobby cards for all the 215 parts. I think he managed Kirk Alyn in the 70s and 80s for doing promotions and appearances, and museum used to be a mobile museum out in Buena Park, California, and he'd have Kirk Allen sit there every day in, day out, and sign stuff for people, and that was the attraction star. It's Kirk Allen, the first silver screen Superman. And then he got Noel Neill, and he got Jack Larson to come, and all those people, and eventually moved here, which that was the first set of casts for the first 94 celebration. Whenever they came back, the first stars were Noel Neill, Jack Larson, Tommy Bond, a few of the other guys from the shows. But there's various statues and whatnots, and you'll see some weird looking things on the floor here. These are all props and costumes from the Superboy TV show in the 80s, from like 88 to 92. Like, this is the Metallo costume.
Did you just recently get this stuff?
No, we're putting Man of Steel stuff in.
Is that what it is? Okay.
So we're taking some of the Superboy stuff out.
I didn't remember.
And he's like, there's a Superboy costume from I think the second season. Yeah, here's his shoulder is down here, so I'll just put that back up there. Somebody touched it, and they shouldn't have.
So you said you're taking this stuff out?
Yeah.
Where is it going?
Archives, where the rest of the stuff is. All this that you're filming in here is about 20% of the collection. So there's rooms and rooms of all the good stuff that he hasn't put in.
Oh, and check this out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He used to go through, there's a TRS-80 with like 5.5-inch floppy.
Oh my goodness.
Don't touch property of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, so I mean, you build little sets and stuff. That's like when you go to Disneyland, like you go to Space Mountain, all the little lights on the gizmos, and that's just it's plywood with a light bulb.
This is stuff I get a major kick out of.
It's whatever you can take to make something look like it's part of it. It may not be an authentic Luthor lab equipment, but it gives it the feel.
Those
of something
floppies
cool
are huge.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, one detail.
That's
And
great.
it's made by Radio Shack. That's what that was great. Yeah, those. I'm surprised nobody stole the floppies. Most people come through and be like, "What are those? What are you going to do with that?"
I had a Commodore back in the day with a dual 5-inch floppy drive.
Whew, I bet that was expensive.
Yeah, my first computer wasn't very old.
Yeah. Here's Superboy from the 80s. I think it went from 82 to 92 or 93, because they canceled this and made Lois and Clark. And then they had two Superboys. It was John Haynes Newton and Gerard Christopher. And they just acted like nothing happened when they replaced it. But there's the Bizarro faces, other costumes, props from the show, autographs, all these things up here were used on the show, like SWAT pieces, the fake bricks where he'd break through walls. There's a pile of bricks on the other side. A lady came through, funny story. A lady came through while he was changing out the Man of Steel stuff, and he was doing something up there, and he knocked the styrofoam bricks, and they're painted to look real. So a lady was like, "I'll save you," and like diving to catch the bricks, and she didn't know they were fake, and I was like, more like, "I'll sue you." Diving under a pile of falling bricks. I don't know what she was doing, but it was very strange, that lady. Here's a magic cabinet with watches throughout the years. I think the last watch he put in here was in 2000, so there's been a few more added to the collection since, just not in here. There's no more room. There's various memorabilia from 60s, 70s, 80s. Almost anything Superman you can think of. This is pretty cool. It's a multi-layer animation cell. If you look at it from the sides, you can see each individual layer. Each step shows a different, to make Superman look like he's busting through rocks, kind of like how they do cartoons. Different wall clocks and other clocks and hats and posters, and there's stuff behind you as well, hidden in every nook and cranny we can find. Plushies and VHS collection, and that's all you had. Super socks. Lamps and statues from the 30s up till now, and posters and blankets and a random arm holding a bag. This is Superman arm. A lot of overseas toys, like Japanese toys. Like, there's a big pile of them around here somewhere. I always forget where they're at. But you'll see random Japanese across the toy. Oh, there they are up there. I don't know if I'd eat it, but there's Superman peanut butter. Superman Coke from Six Flags and pretzels and a hero holder.
Oh, check out that table. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a cool 3D table.
That is pretty sweet.
I want a table like that. That was custom.
We'll get back into the Superman the movie era. Here's animation cells from the 60s with Super Friends and Super Powers era stuff. And then here's from the 50s when George Reeves was Superman. There's like the belt reward that you get out of the Kellogg's box, and there's the box with the belt buckle reward for 25 cents, and the water powered rockets and all the other cornflakes boxes with Superman and some Superman Returns and some repurposed off-battle figures, play sets to make it look like Krypton or the Fortress of Solitude.
Tell me, how does he organize things such that he knows that he has everything, or he knows what he doesn't have, given that he buys everything that is Superman no matter what it is?
That I don't know. He just has one amazing memory and able to catalog, and everything's cataloged up here. You know, I'll be looking through, like on eBay, like looking for stuff, for action figures and stuff, and he'll just go through and be like, "You got these?" He's like, got it. He doesn't even have to go over there to know what he has. He just knows what he spent money on.
How did you get involved in this?
I've been here for 7 years. I've been helping him out. My wife and I got married in 2008, but we've been together since we were sophomores in high school. It's his daughter, and then he asked me to help him, so I've been here helping him, and then he retired last year, and then he just does the museum, and then we do the gift store for him. Kind of took that over, so he doesn't have to worry about customers and day-to-day operations. These are the wigs from each Superman movie that Christopher Reeve wore. Most people for a long time didn't think he wore a wig, and they would argue with Jim about whether he wore a wig, and then he would take a picture of the wig and send it to them, and then he wouldn't hear from those people for a while. There's Marlon Brando's wig. There are various rocks and special effects from the show, the movie.
Tell him he's here.
I think in the, I think it was he told me in The Godfather, he put a bunch of cotton balls in his mouth and talked with cotton balls in his mouth to get that. Various statues. They did very limited toy and statue, anything like that, when Superman the movie came out. They hardly did anything. So now you'll see a resurgence of Christopher Reeve toys and statues and all that stuff, because they're finally letting go of the licenses and copyrights to make this stuff. So that's why you see like the new Hot Toys, the Cinemaket toys, you know, the Mattel toys, all that stuff. But here's a couple of the few things that did get out. 3 or 4 things. A lot of people make custom toys, and where'd it go? There's a custom toy around here somewhere. Here's Mark McClure's suit from Superman the movie, and a couple cameras and cards signed by people that were in the movies.
Let's go. I need a little exercise. Take that.
There's Christopher Reeve's suit from Superman 1. And then if you look up, this is the astronaut that got kicked off into space in Superman 2. Ah, and that's Sylvester Stallone's face inside of it, just for funnies. There's the backpack from Superman the movie that Jeff East wore as he was running in front of the train, dangling like a puppet. Various standees and photo booths and lobby cards and pictures, and here's the staff Marlon Brando had at the beginning of Superman the movie where he was like, There's the boots that they wore and their L costumes.
And here comes the Zod stuff.
There's inserts and there's the villain boots. It's Non and Ursa's boots and Non's boots. Miniatures, flying miniatures from Superman 4. It's Nuclear Man. It looks, I think that's, yeah, Nuclear Man. Here's crystals from the movie, Superman the movie. Nuclear Man's boots. Marlon Brando's life mask. Ticket stubs from Superman the movie, Superman 3. Various cards and all types of, I guess they released these weird patches that were the Kryptonian symbols from Superman the movie in '78. I've never seen them anywhere else, not even on the internet anywhere, so I'm not sure
what they even were.
Yeah, what they were for, or what they were, purpose. Just, I guess, just to have stuff for it. I'm not sure.
Was it maybe like exclusive stuff that
it might have been
theaters or something? You'd think there'd be more of them.
Yeah, I've never seen them anywhere else, so I'm not sure if he got them like directly from somebody involved in the film or something, or maybe they're custom made. I don't know. I just know that people always ask a lot of questions about them. Here's kryptonite that was used, and I think it was Superman 3 or Superman 2. It's the one that he held. I think Richard Pryor. No, there it is. This.
So there'd be 3.
Yeah, this 3. One, and that's the one that he actually used because it has the paper stuck to the bottom. If you go underneath, there's a piece of paper stuck to it, and that's where they had it set, where it was labeled, Superman 3, Christopher Reeve. And then here's the crystal, as seen in above photo. And there's the film strip that he used whenever he was changing in the photo booth. You see back here. A couple of different flying models and promotions for Superman and Superman the movie. Here's taxi that was used in the movie. Promos. That's from Superman 4, where he went back to get the power from the ship. That's the shirt and vest that he wore, and you'll see these. This was the only action figure they released for Superman the movie. Was Superman the movie? That toy right back there. It's Metropolis. It was made in Spain, and that was the only actual licensed figure released during Superman the movie. And they made 3 other items. It was that toy, this dune buggy, because for some reason Superman needs a dune buggy.
Everybody needs a dune buggy.
And that helicopter that he saved from Superman the movie. And then the hardest one to find of all is this mask, which would let you look like a make-up Superman. Those Metalmans, those are hard to find. There's the cape flutter action mechanism, where there's a couple capes out there that have long rod pockets sewn for those rods to go through, so when he's flying it would look like wind blowing.
I wondered what that was.
Yeah, and
I
then
figured it had something to do with costume.
This, well, there's a cabinet in front of it, but it's a breakaway fake wall that he would smash through. The actual wall used during filming this fake wall, especially reconstructing the original special effects team for repurposes for the museum. They smash through brick walls, and you know how Superman likes to make an entrance. Here's the phone of the future from the 80s. And then there's the Superman rotary phone. Various model kits and statues, and all these were painted or hand done by him. The model ones, not the statues. various photos. There's the pose that the statue was taken from. Whenever they made the statue, they based it off that artwork. There's various all kinds of kryptonite, deadly kryptonite, and then ties, and then Superman toys from the 40s up till now. Various older toys, Superman card sets and books, and record players, and silver coins. Bob Holliday did the Superman on Broadway in '66, which then they re-released into a 1977 television special that aired at 11:30 at night, and was fantastic.
I reviewed it.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
There's the Death of Superman
And
stuff.
here comes my favorite thing in the universe.
Death of Superman?
Oh yeah.
Or the red and blue Superman after?
No, no.
This wreath here was used in town. In '93, the city got with the local funeral home, and they got a casket, and they got a cape from Jim, and they draped the cape over it, and they did a procession coming out of the courthouse, and then they made the tombstone.
And it's real stone?
That's real granite. Try to move it.
What?
Yeah, you can try to move it. It's real granite.
Oh boy.
It's solid granite.
Wow.
Don't let it fall forward.
Yeah,
That is cool.
yeah, it's solid granite. And then they had that wreath there, and they had a minister come out, and they did like a procession, like he's buried there at the statue and stuff.
Is there video?
We have pictures. There's no video.
Man, where are they? Are they online somewhere?
No.
Oh,
That's
man.
in my wife, his daughter, was going through one of the rooms because we were cleaning or something, and she just found a giant photo album, and it's like we got pictures of the statue while it was coming through on the trailer from Salt Lake. We got pictures of the statue, like Jim standing there in the position before the statue's there, whenever just the steel rods are there, and then while the statue's there, it has the curtain over it before they unveiled it, and then the unveiling pictures and all that. And nobody decided to film, but there's lots of pictures.
You have got to
She's,
see those at some point, man.
I know she put a bunch of them up on the Facebook page for here. The Superman and Super Museum Facebook page. If you guys check that out, not to plug Facebook or anything, it's evil. But anyway, if you go on there, you can check it out. And
I have to see
if
that
you go,
death
you can look
stuff,
through the
yeah.
photos. You have to go back like 2 years in photos, but she put a bunch of them up. And then there's that actually is an original piece by C.C. Beck, which was the creator of Shazam or Captain Marvel. He's given to Bob Westerfield, who was the person who championed getting the home of Superman in the 70s. And then whenever Mr. Westerfield closed his museum in '73, he kept everything. And then whenever Jim came here, he gave everything to Jim because he was keeping the dream going of Home of Superman and stuff. So he gave him that. And then some of these other Western Reserve posters, and there's some other stuff in here from his collection. But yeah, here's Death of Superman stuff signed by Jurgens, and the various covers and displayed promo artwork and statues. And here's another cool table. Superman table.
There he is. I like it.
Another Superman table. If you want to see it, there's another Superman table.
That'd be a great pedestal for a figure.
Maybe that statue set if I ever get out of the box.
Or for your coffee.
Super coffee.
If I release Superman mode.
This phone booth was owned by Kirk Allen, and then he gave it to Jim in the museum.
I wonder if my number is higher than his number, or lower than his number. I have that.
Supergirl section.
This place just keeps going.
Yeah. Like I said, this is like 15-20% of it, so we'd have to have another 3 or 4 of these buildings to expand all the way. There's the Supergirl costume. The cape's off. I think he's getting it cleaned or something like that, but that's the Supergirl costume. And then they only made one of these. So to have a complete Supergirl costume, you have to have this bracelet, because if you watch Supergirl, the movie, she had the bracelet, which I forget what it does. Either gave her powers or communicated or something like that, but they only made one, so to have a complete Supergirl costume, you have to have that. Otherwise, it's not complete.
I can't remember if it was like linked to the Omegahedron or
Yeah,
whether
it was. They
something.
gave her. It did something special.
I forget.
Yeah,
and it's something to
good
do
movie.
with getting back to the water or
It
something.
wasn't a very good movie, so we don't remember. There's various props and stuff used from the movie. There's her flying rig. I know I'm going a little fast for your camera action.
Oh, you're great, man. Thank you.
It's not up there right now. I have it in the cabinet out front because the chest mannequin piece broke and it started to fall. But the Peter O'Toole sweater that he used in the movie, I'll show you guys that. And then like there's the bug. There's a photo of the bug behind. There's her flying rig and her flying pan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you look up at each of the sections, you'll see everybody's flying rig. Like the Kirk Allen one was back in the corner at the top of the wall. The George Reeves one's over here. There's Supergirls. Christopher Reeve didn't use one because he had the cranes and all that stuff, and they used a bigger budget than flying pans. There's just various toys and games.
Did he have one in 4?
I don't think so. Don't think so.
Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark, and then there's a little bit of Smallville there. There's Smallville.
Is he working on getting a lot of Smallville stuff?
Not a whole lot. We got some stuff, but
As it should be. Does he
They
just
w-
not care, or?
they want too much money for the stuff.
Oh.
That's like most of the props and stuff nowadays. People, even if it's the most insignificant thing, they want an astronomical figure for it. There's the, that suit was from the pilot episode of Lois and Clark, when he didn't know if he needed some sort of costume to be a superhero.
And then there were like those 4 or 5 or 6 other ones.
And then that's the actual one that they decided on up in the corner there.
Yeah.
And then there's various Carrie Hatcher dresses and stuff used in the movies, and Fry Lois Lane banners and all that stuff. And there's other costume pieces and suits worn by Dean Cain, and apron used on the show. There's propaganda material.
I have one of those. You have one of those.
Has Dean Cain been back here before?
No,
Or
this will be his first
This will be
year.
his first time?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are going to take him back here, yeah?
Yeah, he said on an interview online, I forget which website, but he was excited about coming to the museum to see the stuff. He started out.
So he knows there's a room back here.
He knows there's a room, and we've been trying for 20 years since Lois and Clark ended. When Lois and Clark ended, he wanted like $150,000 a day to show up, and then 20 years later, he's down to like 5 for a day. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Whatever, Dean Cain's still awesome.
Yeah, he's still cool. Whatever. It's a Superman, so that's all that matters. Getting somebody that played Superman to be here. That's the most important thing you can get. Everybody else, it's like, okay, they were in it, but Superman.
Brandon Routh 2 years ago was a big deal.
Yeah, Superman to come. That's everybody wants to see that. There's various George Reeves pictures and autographs, and there's a belt from the Black and White series, and his life mask, and other cards and who's it's and what's it.
I really feel like sitting in and watching some Lois and Clark right now.
This is from. This is from Super Pup. They tried
The
to
field pilot.
yeah. Whenever they after George Reeves died, they tried to get something going to pick up, and they tried at first they tried a spinoff that was like a Jimmy Olsen show, and then they tried a Superboy pilot, and that did with John Rockwell, which he was here last year, and that didn't work. And then they tried this Super Pup, which was little people in costumes with dog heads, and it didn't make it past the pilot.
They
And
use
here's-
the old sets.
yeah, they use the old sets and all that stuff, and here's the behind the scenes of people in the costumes, which we've got the
Probably didn't make it because it's terribly frightening.
there's a number of reasons.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's real bad.
There's different lobby cards for Superman and the Mole Men, and oh sorry, like Superman versus the Jungle Devil, which when there you'll see Superman in a yellow suit, which when they did the reprinting on the cards, like right here, that's from overseas. When they did the reprinting on the cards, they got the color messed up, so they gave him a yellow suit when they colored the cards. So that's why you'll see like over there down below, he's sitting there in a bright yellow costume with a brown S. But yeah, they did the recoloring different. There's just various. Here's all the original posters, half sheets, full sheets, lobby cards, personal effects of George Reeves, Clark Kent tie set, another life mask. I was taken for the face and the voice.
Who made this?
I don't know offhand.
Okay.
There's the lead mask from the movie, and that's a custom set facing the Death Ray, the Electrolux vacuum cleaner.
Mighty Duck? What's going on?
Then, you know, there's various TV theme show theme songs just to get people in a happy mood.
Oh, okay.
Here's
It's a pop culture place, Vince.
one of a kind, or no, two of these known to exist, and it's another one where they got the coloring messed up because he's in orange and blue, but it's long, various, you know,
Sure.
because there's the Jungle Devil again, but his coloring's right. So depending on which country, sometimes they got the coloring messed up. There's Jim in the 80s with Noel Neal and Jack Larson, and then he's got a George Reeves shirt on that he had made. Mr. Kryptonite here. People always ask what Mr. Kryptonite is. Mr. Kryptonite was used on the wrestling circuit. In between, whenever they were filming The Adventures of Superman, George Reeves did wrestling, like amateur wrestling, and they had a gimmick, and he'd come out to the ring dressed up as Superman, and his villain was Mr. Kryptonite. And that was the costume that he'd wear, and Mr. Kryptonite would hit George Reeves over the back with a balsa wood baseball bat. So whenever he hit him, it would splatter like, you know, he's breaking it over steel or something. But that's one of the balsa wood bats that didn't break. And then the Mr. Kryptonite suit. And then here's the Mole Men bald caps from Superman and the Mole Men from 1951. First full-length feature Superman movie. Serial to serial, working title, pre-production, book, script, prototype, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the actual book, kind of shrank a little bit. Here's the George Reeves color costume. Here's poster. I'll move this stuff so you can get a shot. No, I hear
What'd you find, Vince?
I didn't know they made a poster.
Of cool.
Aliens versus Superman.
What?
They made a statue too.
Did they really?
Turn around.
What? Oh, that's BA. It's kind of creepy looking Superman, but I mean, he is being fought by aliens. That's creepy. I love it.
Here's some other poster.
Okay, so talk to me about the black and white suit thing.
Okay, in 1951 and 52, the budget was in 51, because it was Superman in the Moment was the first with George Reeves. The budget was very, very short, and they filmed the movie in 12 days. And they didn't have enough money to film in color at the time. In 51, I'm guessing it was very expensive to film in color at 51. I wasn't around there, I don't know. But it's not a black and white suit per se, it's brown and gray. Because when the colors would show up on film, brown would show up as gray, or gray would show up right, and then brown would show up as the colors. So you could tell like there was a different two-tone costume there. And they used that for Superman and the Mole Men, and then the first season and second season of Superman, Adventures of Superman. And then in 53, the third season, they were doing so well, they were able to switch to color costume. And then if you look up close, you can see it's made out of wool. And then on certain like episodes, you can see perspiration under the arms. Because imagine jumping around and doing all that in a wool costume.
What season did the show itself go color? Was it
53.
Was it
was the
fourth?
third season.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first two seasons were black and white. And then it was this after all that, it was color, and that's whenever it came to known, you know, hey, here's a one-of-a-kind poster. This poster here. It's the only one left known to exist in condition, full sheet poster, silk screened. Yeah, and then if you go back in here, there's other lobby cards for Superman versus the electricians, or it's in a different language, so I don't know exactly what it says.
Superman versus the foreign language.
Superman versus the plumbers.
Superman grade schoolers.
Superman versus the children.
No, he's supposed to save grade schoolers.
Lois Lane sign for in town. There's a street Lois Lane, but they don't do it like this anymore. It's just Lois and then LN to discourage people from stealing the signs because they would get stolen all the time.
I almost prefer that because then it's more of a street than it is.
Yeah. This painting here that this lovely statue is in front of is an original Kurt Swan painting on a 4x8 sheet of plywood. And he didn't usually do personal pieces like that, but that's another piece that was done for Bob Westerfield for The Amazing World of Superman in the 70s. And then it was given to the museum from the Westerfield family, and there it's been since. And then you'll see in here, like there's various, to Jim, Joe Shuster, to Jim, Jerry Siegel, creators, original sketches to him. And then here's, let me move this guy, with these umbrellas.
Given to him by the penguin.
Maybe this other one was given to him. There's Siegel and Schuster's personal umbrellas from the 80s. Whenever they were given to him as a that was their I guess their bonus for the year for creating Superman was an umbrella. Considering how much money Warner Brothers and stuff was making, it's kind of a slap in the face. You give them an umbrella, you know. Yeah. And then here's a copy of that right there. That's a copy which the owner has very hidden and I've never got to see. It's a copy of the original sketch artwork for Superman, the beginnings of Superman.
Just so anybody watching this knows, when you come here, please do not handle the product.
Yeah, please do not do what I'm doing. But that right there, yeah, that's from 36. It's copies of their notebook where they were like coming up with the concept ideas.
And he's got the real one.
That's a copy of the real one, which is somewhere. I'm not going to disclose where because I don't know.
But he's got.
I don't want anybody to try to steal it.
But he's got one.
Yeah, he's got. There's only one to exist. It came out of their notebook. You know, it's stuff like that.
So, do people who live in town covet getting to live on Lois Lane?
No.
Is there like a whole lot of like people are like, oh man, I gotta live on Lois Lane. I live in Metropolis.
No. I don't want to discourage and give bad things on the film, so I would.
Oh, okay. But I mean, like, so not a bunch of Superman fans actually in town?
No, not at all. Not at all. Most of them, when the celebration comes around, they don't want it to be here. They, for some reason, they don't like the thing that pays part of the taxes for the town to help keep the town going. You know, it relies on Harrah's, the casino, and tourism, and they don't like tourism. I don't know why. I really don't. I've tried to get some to explain to me, and I just can't understand. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand their logic. Here's
face casting.
Yeah, it's
That's
the mold
cool.
from when they made the statue. That's the actual size of his head of the statue out there that you guys saw earlier.
That's
And there's
awesome.
only
We'll be
one-
going closer to that here. In a
There's
little
only
bit.
one mold for he has the entire mold for the statue, but there's not any room to assemble the statue
Let
in
me
the
ask you a
building.
potentially really stupid question.
Sure. I like
Was
those questions.
was the statue designed to look like Christopher Reeve?
It was supposed to be taken of collaboration of all the different styles of Superman artwork and actors. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit from each one. So, I mean, you'll see elements of Christopher Reeve in it, and then you'll see elements of, like, the George Reeves era in it as well. Not so much Dean Cain or Brandon Routh or anything, because it was put together before 93, so that was...
Yeah.
You know, right before like Dean Cain was big, so
And not animated because it's not angular.
no, it doesn't not have a square chin at all. I mean, it does a little bit, but we're not talking like a sharp angle
Right.
from the animated series.
But you'd agree, Christopher Reeve is the closest thing to
There's a lot
that
of
face, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of like both the drawn Superman from all the different eras, Wayne Boring Superman, Kurt Swan Superman. I mean, you can see it kind of looks like that Superman in a certain, like this one here, this painting in a certain way, you know. Each of the different costume elements fit in there some way or another, and you know, he's always got the spit curls, a little different on each Superman, but it's always there. Some of them it's to the side, some of them it's in the middle, some of it's, you know. So they tried to conquer all the different Superman-esque artwork they could and put it in there without making it look like a mutant.
I think this is probably the coolest piece.
Oh, that's my personal favorite. Pledge multi-surface is how we keep everything looking shiny.
It is beautiful.
Got to keep everything looking.
And stop handling the museum stuff, man.
That chair. You're more than welcome to sit in the chair, though. Although be careful, it might fall apart.
As long as it don't fall that way, I think we'll be okay.
No guarantees. This is the original board where they were raising the funds. They would paint over a line. It hung on the corner of the Chamber of Commerce until they reached, I think it was like $130,000 to get the statue in 93 or 90. Well, that's when they built it in 93, so it was like a few years selling bricks and donations and all that. This costume here, it looks pretty cheesy, I know, but it was worn. It was the first costume worn for the first town festival parade in '72, whenever they had the Amazing World of Superman here. So that's why his belt buckle is a little Superman thing. I'm not sure what that is. I've never opened it up to look at it.
I'm sure at least one person did.
Different collectibles that they've done from the town, souvenirs, spoons, shot glasses.
Neato.
Here's a picture of the statue before it was finished. Right back there, it's made of bronze.
Like that it's bronze.
Oh, it's a bronze statue.
Yeah, bronze and then a whole bunch of paint over it.
Well, why paint a bronze statue?
Because the bronze pits and discolors from the copper in it.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it won't rust like steel. And stainless steel is very expensive, and so is aluminum.
I've never seen a painted bronze statue, though. That's very interesting.
The Lois Lane one down the street is bronze. She's not painted, and you can start to see where it's starting to turn green from the copper and stuff.
Yeah.
Are they going to paint it?
I don't know. We paint the big one, so I'd assume they're going to make us paint the other one, too.
You guys have to do regular upkeep on the paint?
Every couple of years, it has to do a full paint job.
Do you have to scrape paint off first, or you just paint over?
I just paint over it because it's all oil-based paint. So if you start scraping oil-based paint, then you got EPA regulations. And
Yeah.
It'd have to be sandblasted, and then all the overblast goes onto cars and all the other stuff. And then I'll let the city take care of that.
They just contaminate the town.
Yeah. Superman, his costume's supposed to be indestructible.
Is the Superman Museum open year-round?
Every day of the year, even Christmas and Thanksgiving. Shaking your head no, though.
No, I'm just saying that's crazy.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Do you have a pretty constant stream of customers that come through?
Yeah. Not so much in February, kind of.
That's
February.
That's the only time
February.
of year, huh?
Like the late January and all of February is when it's like hit or miss.
And that was the first time I came, was around that time. It was a ghost town. There was nobody here.
It's like every year. It shuts down.
But we loved it because we had kind of run to town.
You
that
could come in here.
That was fun.
You could spend all day in here and not see another person.
Not see another person. It was great.
And you could enjoy the museum in solitude. I get people that come in here and it's.
This is my fortress?
Yeah, they'll come in specifically in the winter, so that way they're not bothered by kids running around or families in the way of them trying to take pictures.
Well, this is why I wanted to come on a Sunday. That's why we made this the end of the trip.
Most documentary people, they come during winter because they can set up like a track for their cart that rolls through. You guys did the pop-in.
So
we had one that set up like the track all the way around the outside of the museum with their cart because there was nobody else coming through, and they just filmed away. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll be out here. Nothing. Yeah. Oh, there's the that lunchbox up there. This is his first item that he ever got.
I'm sorry, where is it?
It's in the globe.
It's in the globe.
Oh, that's why he's got it in the globe.
Yeah, he got it when he was 5.
Wow.
That started it all,
That's it.
Started it
That's
all.
what I was going to say. Started it all.
Setting down the path of glory. Here's those fake bricks I was telling you about that the lady dived in front of. Yeah, they're just styrofoam. Various canvas paintings and goof. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look up. There's all kinds of stuff up top. Here's there's boulders from the Superboy series and
I'm going to start getting nosebleed here in a minute.
Kirk Allen's flying pan.
You look up too much.
There's his flying pan, Kirk Allen, the first TV Superman. Original posters from Superman vs. Atom Man and the 15-part serials.
Smallville would tell the story of Superman.
So do you guys get a lot of customers that shop at you guys get a lot of locals that shop at the gift shop or come in? Or?
We only get
We
a
were
couple,
just talking about
couple locals that come through.
He doesn't seem to want to talk too much about local stuff.
Not on camera.
Fair enough.
We'll talk to him later about that.
We'll talk about it when the camera's down. We can talk about that.
There is a significant tourism.
There's a significant lack of locals. There's a plaque or a building sign that was used from Superboy, the TV
I'll
show.
get you here during the celebration at some point. You can see just how many tourists come to this place.
Well,
During the celebration last year, we hit over 60,000 people that came through in 4 days.
I guess I was just curious, like, how can something stay open all year long? That's what I'm just so impressed by.
Well, if you get enough tourists during the year, I mean,
Well, our season is like, okay, January and February, it's a ghost town and we do online sales. March, like the second week of March is spring break, is when it starts. And around the country, they stagger spring break from the first week to the first week of March to the first week of April. So those 4 weeks, it's like a summer. It's like a month of summer, so it's busy. And then the second, third, and fourth week of April, it goes back to being just average, could be 2 people a day, could be 500 people a day, you don't know. Just how many people can be pulled off the freeway with the signs. And then May, it's pretty busy May, and then Memorial Day weekend, last weekend of May, is when it starts the actual busy season, and then it's, I'm here from 8 in the morning till sometimes 10 at night. Just stay till the people stop coming. So, and then it's like that until second weekend of August when school starts, and then it dies down. And then whenever you get like fall break, then it picks up, and then you got Thanksgiving vacation, then it picks up, Christmas picks up, and then it's back to January.
Let me ask you this: why isn't there a comic shop in Metropolis?
Because anytime there's been a comic shop, we put them out of business.